Emery's Cup. Devastation for De Gea. Can City claim revenge, or will Tuchel stop the treble? We go again. Hi, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Sideline Talk. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte's just joined us. An unusual Saturday. Season's over, so we want to bring as much content as we can. And when we can, today we're going to be going over Villarreal's victory in Gdansk. We'll be giving out Man City. Gather some just thoughts of the guests on the panel today of how they think the season's gone for their teams. It's not really a fitting time to discuss European football. As my phone kindly reminded me this morning, European final 2 years ago today. Not a good one for Arsenal, but, anyway, the show goes on.
Baku.
Yeah. Oh, what a time to be on with Chelsea. But a big thank you, as always, to anybody that has or is about to tune in. Remember to hit that like button if you haven't already. If there's anyone new out there that hasn't subscribed, please do, as... it all helps. Every little helps. But we're joined by Niall from Let's Talk EPL. So I'll go to you first, Niall. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. My season ended about 4 weeks ago, and I'm trying to forget it. So
yeah, you're in a good position today. You're a Plymouth fan, like we just touched on off air. I mean, the ball's in your corner at the end of the day. You can sort of slander us all. But we're also joined by Charlotte from Strong TV, who's been with us before for the sexism debate. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. Charlotte, how are things?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm good. I'm looking forward to tonight. To be fair, whatever the outcome is, Man United embarrassed themselves enough that, it doesn't really matter how it turns out for us, because at least we lose to a decent team. Someone that actually has trophies, unlike Villarreal, who Man U handed them their first trophy. Oh, did I say that? My bad.
Already.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm excited. I just need my team to figure out what the offside rule is.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that completely. Last but not least, Jay's with us from Rivalry Aside TV. As you know, we've worked on several occasions with these boys. But yeah, Jay, how are things? Are the tears still there, or are you starting to get over it?
I mean, you can see I'm wearing black. I'm in mourning
still. Yeah,
still.
You've got a shirt on.
It's tough.
Like
it's tough. I was hoping this could, be a circle of friends who could, pick me back up. But you've just come straight in there. Charles, nice to meet you with the 2-footer. That's how we roll as football fans. So you got to dust yourself off, haven't you? Every time. But I'm okay, mate. Few days to reflect on it, and it's not all bad. But yeah, still. Oh, it's just so disappointing.
We've been there, mate. We were there about 6 weeks or so ago, whenever it was.
It is.
And there was, as always, my co-host Sam. Sam, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Everything all right?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Let's get cracking. I can see Luke's with us already. I think he's probably in just to give you a bit of a grilling, to be fair. Obviously, Luke's on the panel with Jay at Rivalry Aside TV, but fair play to him. So we'll get started. Jay, to be fair, we'll start with you because we've got to start on Wednesday's game, of course. And then what I'll do, I'll go around the table, I guess, and just sort of see where people thought it went wrong. So Wednesday night, obviously, the ball was a little bit in your court, I would say. You got through that semi-final phase, which people know United are sort of got a reputation for, shall we say. The semi-final bottle jobs, supposedly. But where do you think it actually went wrong in terms of like the performance? Let's start with the lineup. Were you happy with what you saw in terms of the first 11?
From what was available, yeah, I was surprised that Fred was left out, because it usually goes for Fred and McTominay as the two DMs. But I think, I don't know, Ole must have just thought that obviously we were strong enough to just go with the one holding and Pogba could push forward a bit. And I think that he thought the game plan, which Villarreal did really well, to be fair, was, try and nick a goal and then sit in that defensive block and make it really hard to break down. And that's why we need Pogba on the pitch, because he can unlock the defences more than Fred can. So that was the only thing which surprised me, but I could see why he did it. And also just the loss of Harry Maguire in the Villa game. After that game, we only beat Wolves. We lost against Leicester, lost against Liverpool, drew against a poor Fulham side, scraped a win past Wolves, didn't have a clean sheet. So I think you could see the importance of him in the team to us. Without him, our defence is very shaky. He's obviously a leader on the pitch and solidifies those guys at the back. Even when the players are alongside him, they look like much better players. Even when Lindelof and Bailly, they look half the players when if Maguire's not next to them. So yeah, I think the lineup was more than strong enough, and they should have won the game with the players they had on the pitch.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, McTominay was probably your best player on the field, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one who showed real effort. Charlotte, I'll come to you next. Obviously, we've already started with the digging, so I have a feeling I know how this one's going to go. But what do you think Man United were lacking on Wednesday night?
I'm muted, sorry. I don't think you can fully blame the players. Ole is again to blame. And I think he has to take actually maybe 65%. No, maybe I'm being generous. 50% of the blame. Because he made his first substitution was in the 98th minute, which was Fred. Bit embarrassing that you're having to substitute Fred on. Then there was no substitutions in 90 minutes of the game. Apparently he doesn't know what a substitute is until it actually need it. He didn't take Rashford off. Rashford didn't look like he wanted to be on the pitch. Actually, none of the players looked like they wanted to be on the pitch. And again, Ole failing. This is the last time you guys had a trophy was in 2017, and that was the Europa League, and that was under Mourinho, the man that you slagged off and wanted him to leave, but he won you a trophy. Ole's done absolutely nothing, and as far as I'm concerned, you need a new manager. And I'm not being a dick here, but he's not proved anything in nearly 4 years. When is it going to get to the point where you can be like, oh, man, you're back? Because I see you getting second in the Premier League. So cool. What did you get for being second? We got fourth. We got the same thing. You get Champions League. Cool story. Congratulations. You got the same thing as Liverpool. There's no trophies. You can get to semi-finals and everyone's like, oh, Ole had a semi-final problem. But then when you get to a final, your team does nothing. Your manager doesn't know what a substitution is. And I'm not saying it would have changed things, but at least you're making the effort to try and change things. And he did absolutely none of that. Your players were absolutely abysmal. The minute it got to the 6th penalty, I was like, De Gea's going to bottle this. De Gea's going to bottle this. De Gea is going to bottle this for you. And what does he do? Bottle it for you. I mean, I'm not shocked it was De Gea, although I did think it was going to be Fred or McTominay that bottled it for you. When I saw Fred take a penalty, I was like, he's going to bottle it. Actually, it was quite a good penalty. But your players didn't look like they wanted it. There was a team that hasn't ever had a trophy, and they obviously wanted it more than a team that needs a trophy. Because you guys haven't had a trophy, and it shows that I don't know if the problem is more on the players or the manager, because the manager, everyone was like, oh, Ole hasn't had a chance to get to a final. He gets to a final and bottles the hell out of it. So, I mean, I don't really know. Ole has to blame for the substitutions, I think. It was really, that for me was a biggest mistake he made in the 90 minutes. The fact that there was no changes, for me, I would have made some changes. So they could have had I would have made changes at the 75th, 70th minute so that they could have been warmed up by the time you got to extra time. Or maybe it wouldn't have gone to extra time. But fact is it did, and you made, 1 or 2 changes. It wasn't impressive for me. And the players just looked dead. And seeing Bruno cry, I'm like, well, you should be crying because your performance, again, Bruno's performance in a big game was absolutely dismal. I mean, everyone was dismal. There was not one player. It's good. Man U fans can be like, oh, we didn't have Maguire. The fridge freezer wouldn't have helped you win it. None of your players were playing. It doesn't matter if you have one defender doing a job. doesn't mean that you're going to get any more goals. You were all just shit that evening. And the
Niall,
fact is, the reason. Now I'm not done here. The reason I'm giving Man United such a hard time is because all these Man United fans were so cocky when they got to the Europa League final. They were like, "Yeah, it's ours, yeah." I'm sorry. Good evening. Good evening is all I gotta say. Like, I mean, Unai Emery's got more trophies in the Europa League than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does. But you know,
You got.
Ugh, Jesus Christ! Right, Niall, I'll go to you, and then I'm going to go to Sam quickly, and then I'm going to go to Jay about the whole Solskjaer thing because he knows more than any of us on the panel. Obviously, being a United fan, I know you produce content on it quite a bit. So Niall, what do you echo that in that sense? Do you think it is mainly Ollie that's at fault?
No, nowhere near. So there's two elements to this. Element one, Ollie has done that to prove a point to the board. You can look at it in two ways, as I say. One, making a point to the board is one of the smartest things he's ever done because he can go, I don't trust any of the players on my bench. I need more players. Therefore, we all know how Glazeonomics works. He would normally get one good player and then two averagey shit players. So what he's actually done here is I think he's done this as proving a point, going, I haven't got anything to work with. There's no player on my bench that can do what we need them to do. That may force the Glazers into going, okay, well, because they trust Ollie. The Glazers trust Ollie. And this whole thing of achievements, we only need to look at progression in the league to see how United are doing. They went from 6th to 3rd to 2nd. So Ollie has clearly got this team working. Do I think Ollie can win a major trophy at United? I actually do if he actually was given the resources that he needs. Look at Jurgen Klopp. Didn't win anything until he brought a really good goalkeeper and Van Dijk. So every top manager needs them resources. Who's Ollie got? Well, he's got a double pivot of McTominay and Fred normally. And to be fair, I put a lot of the blame on the players because I don't. It's the players and the coaches. It's not Ollie. It's the coaches. Because I don't believe Ollie's telling the coaches, chuck 4 people up top, and then we're just going to try and pass it to a wing and chuck across him. I actually think Ollie's there, trusting his coaches to get them working. I also don't believe Ollie's saying, for set pieces, what I want you to do is not mark your men, and I want you to allow them to score plenty of goals. You can see it in the press conference, him going, conceded from a set piece again. I think United needs 6 key additions this summer. They need a right winger to add that creativity. They need a DM to allow Pogba that confidence to go forward, but also they need a DM that can ping a pass across the pitch because I like McTominay to a degree, but he ain't doing that. Like, there's no way McTominay is pinging passes left, right, and centre. Not happening. And they need a centre back and the centre back I think they should go for is Sven Botman. Because with centre backs, you want them to complement each other. If you get a Sven Botman, he's quite quick. Yes, he's not as experienced as Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire's played over 400 games. Therefore, he'll be the experienced, and Botman I think he's nearing 100 career appearances already. So, I mean, for his age, he's doing very well, and he's got a higher ceiling than De Ligt. So I'd go get Botman. I'd go get maybe a Declan Rice or someone who can start pinging the passes, control that middle, and then Sancho. But I wouldn't stop there. I'd also get a new defensive coach, a new attacking coach, and a new set-piece coach, because coaches you currently got are trash. They are so bad, right? Because the defensive side of United is utterly shocking. But that's not Ollie's fault. That's the defensive coach there. Then you look at the attack. It's absolutely, sometimes it works, but when you're facing a low block, they don't know what they're doing. Bruno should be coming deeper in these situations. Pogba needs to be passing and moving a lot more than he did. They need to find a different way to break down the low block. They're not doing that. So you need a new attacking coach. And I don't really need to explain why you need a new set-piece coach, because to be frankly honest, that's self-explanatory. But to be fair, I don't think it's all Ollie. And Ollie's doing a fairly good job. But there's the other way you can look at it is Ollie was too scared to make a change because he thought he would mess it up, which, to be fair, in his first elite final, I can understand that to a degree. I think this final helps Ollie in the future. I think United could be successful under Ollie. They need to back him, and he needs to learn from his mistakes, i.e. 3 new coaches in the summer.
Yeah. I'll go to you, Sam, quickly. And then I know Jay's probably got a lot to say from that because
It's probably fuming.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite a take. And I'm 50-50 on it. I don't think I know it. I don't think I care enough in United. My family are all United supporters, so I don't think I give two monkeys on whether it's the sort of management or the players. But what's your take on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Sam? Do you think his time is up?
I mean, I don't like to throw shades on other clubs and their managers, especially when ours is as bad as it is. But what I would like to ask United fans as well is when will the turning point be? I mean, I don't think the criteria for a United manager is just to be liked by the fans. I don't think that's enough. There was a comment in the comment section from Chris, and it says, we're going back to Klopp, where he was in like the same situation before getting his players in to become winners and stuff. Great
comment that. Yeah.
I think he's hit the nail on the head there as well. I don't think he's got enough pedigree behind him, Ollie, to carry this team forward. Let's be real here. Man United is the biggest club in England, history-wise, and has been for years. And I don't feel like they should be having a manager of that ability to take them forward, or for a project this big. Yeah, okay, fair enough. League form, they've done well, but let's be completely honest here. It's been a poor league all round this year.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I don't know when the turning point is for him.
I think that is the question. That's the big one. Like, where does it end? Where does it change? Jay, we'll go back to Charlotte's comments on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then I want to sort of refer to when Niall went a bit more in depth in terms of the squad, because there is quite a lot that needs doing. What's your take on this? First of all, the whole Glazers out. Ollie out situation. I'm going to first ask on that because you're the first United channel fan that we've had on the show, and to me, I've been a bit not underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I think I'm just quite surprised that the United sort of fan base have taken it to such an extreme, because from like Niall was touching on, United have had their backing along the years in terms of players being brought in. I mean, you've spent a good 700 million or so in 7 years, I think I read. So to me, if you've got board that are giving you that sort of money, I don't see why there is so much complaints, especially in terms of getting inside the stadium and, actually delaying games. It's gone over and abroad what any other fan base has. Where are you in terms of that? Starting with the board, and then I want to ask you the same question for the manager.
Yeah, so I like the board situation, obviously, when the Glazers came in back in 2005. And then FC United was formed, where a tearaway, a lot of section of the season ticket holders and supporters wanted nothing to do with the club anymore, because they looked into the information and saw that the purchase was facilitated with loans, like over £500 million worth of loans, and the interest alone on those loans every year was tens of millions of pounds. So already that's coming out of your transfer budget at the start of the season. And you are right, United have still spent a lot of money, and they've gone out there and splashed out on players. So I do understand when rival clubs say that, and say, well, you moan about the Glazers, but you still bought a lot of players. But I think it's the whole package and what it came with. So when they came in, they got rid of David Gill, who was a good director of football at Man United, and brought in Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward was the Glazer family's bank manager. He worked for JP Morgan. He worked in Canary Wharf, right? He's a bank manager, and he looked after their accounts, and he helped them buy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and looked after all their business interests. They brought him into Man United as the commercial director of football. So that he's in there to run it as a franchise. That's what they called it. That's what they called it when they bought the team. It's a great franchise. We want to grow the franchise, not a football club. They want to. It's a bit, it's just a business for them, and they want to make money. So they were spending money, right, which they have done, as you referred to, with the hundreds of millions that have been spent. But it's not about the football, and it's not about building the team. I think when Ferguson was there, he was fighting that, and he was trying to get the best players he could in. But I think what they go for is the shirt sales, and they go for the big names, the Sanchez's, the Di Maria's, the Falcao's. That's kind of what they were going for, because they want to branch into the other markets around the world, sell more shirts there, get more viewings, more TV rights, and all the rest of it. So I think the difference is, if you look at some Man City, for example, the way they're run as as a football club is just brilliant. You know, they've got a proper director of football. They've built an amazing training facilities. Their academy is great. They bring players through. Their recruitment's fantastic. So it's about the whole big picture and the situation. And I think this links in quite well with Solskjaer, and this is why, including myself and a lot of the fan base, is happy that he's come in, because he's a person in the mould of Ferguson, and he's trying to turn the club back and fight against that. And already Ed Woodward's leaving this summer. So hopefully this summer now is going to be crucial, and we can see some actual football recruitment done for footballing reasons to fix and improve the team, rather than it's for commercial gains to get more money, more income into the club, which ultimately is there to facilitate and pay the Glazers' debts, which the club is still run under.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm like I said, I don't know upstairs. Even with Arsenal, I don't tend to get too involved in the board. I think it only really started getting all a bit hectic when the Super League come out, and then all of a sudden everyone's wanting to go to the stadium and protest. As much as I agree with the stunt, I like to look at it on the field and see what sort of is going on by the players that we've signed. So we'll go back to the team, specifically who was out there Thursday. Looking at that right now, who would you expect to see there next season? For me, I'd say at least. Well, obviously looking at the bottom,
Probably,
I think Greenwood and Fernandez are givers, obviously, and Cavani is just extended. But
I think Lindelof will still be there, but he should be a squad player or a backup centre back, because he's not first team quality. I think we've seen a few times this season where he's pretty weak, and he gets exactly, Luke. I think you have to look at it in the context. You know, somebody mentioned Jurgen Klopp earlier, and Jurgen Klopp's first season at Liverpool, he lost the Europa League final against an Unai Emery team, Sevilla. Yes. The second season he won nothing. Second season he won nothing, and they finished fourth. And the third season he won nothing, and they finished fourth. And then it was on his fourth season they won the Champions League. So these managers need time. Loads of Liverpool fans at the time were asking for Klopp to go and saying he's not won anything in his first 3 seasons. And you know, with Solskjaer, he's basically not had a pre-season yet this year with COVID, and because the season finished so late with the Project Restart, and then we were straight back in. It was like a week or two off. You know, Man United and Man City didn't play the first Premier League weekend because they were still in Europe from the season before. So you talk about Niall, you touched on the defensive coaches and stuff, right? Or the set piece coaches. Man United have been playing weekend Thursday or weekend Tuesday, Wednesday when they were in the Champions League since July, August. You think they've got travel arrangements, they've got to go to these countries, go in the hotels, play the games, and then away matches. There's no time in between. I don't know, like their training sessions are probably like recovery and stuff. So I don't think they need a proper pre-season.
Do you think we're a pre-season that helps with set pieces? I'm not throwing something. I'm just asking if.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think if we have if we have a full, 4 to 6 weeks of pre-season where they can focus on these set pieces. I mean, I think it's mainly down to the quality there. The training will help specifically, but the quality, Lindelof and Bailly, when it comes to set pieces, it is very poor. But I think my point is like the bigger picture, and if to still finish second in the league, be unbeaten away from home all season, and get to a Europa League final when we were third last season, didn't get past the semi-final. All he bought was Alex Telles as competition for Luke Shaw, Van der Beek again, who was never going to come into the first team and improve that first 11, and Amad Diallo, who's an 18-year-old lad who's one for the future. So it's improvement.
Don't forget Palestri.
Very minimal signings. Palestri,
what a signing he was.
Looks like he's still going to be staying out on loan for another year by all accounts. But I'm happy. From what we've done in this year, I'm not happy with the result in the final. The point about the substitutions, we were saying that as we were doing the watch along. It was like, it needs to change something, because they brought 5 players on, I think, before the 90th minute, and we were saying, that's effectively half their team out there has got fresh legs, and our players are going to start to struggle to keep up with them. And you could see towards the end of the 90, they were in the ascendancy and looked like they might get a winner, but as you said, Niall, like it was a bit of a point, and we were saying at the time on the night, like, who would you bring on there? Who really, like, all of our top goal scorers are on the pitch: Fernandez, Cavani, Rashford, Greenwood, McTominay, even 7 goals, Pogba 7 goals. The next person below that's Martial, who's injured. So literally everybody on the bench is like, there's not many people there apart from maybe Diallo, but it's, you know, he's 18-year-old kid. He's not played many games at all, so it's a tough ask.
It'd be so risky. It'd be so risky putting in on Amad Diallo in a European final. Because imagine if he misses a penalty or he makes a mistake and costs you European success. Like, I mean, crikey, his confidence is going to be absolutely shot. And as you mentioned, I think he's only in his senior career, I think he's played a total of 6 games. At Atalanta, most of them were about 15-minute cameos. So this kid, and it made me laugh when United fans were like, "Oh, bring on Amad." I'm like, you want to bring a kid on who's barely played football at the senior level into a Europa League final? Yeah, that's a smart move.
And I think, you know, this whole conversation is completely different if Rashford scores that absolute sitter at 1 each. You know, he should have just stuck that away. I don't know what he was doing, trying to be clever, sort of finding the near post in front of the keeper when he could have just, you know, just whacked it in the far post or just hit it at him and he probably would have scored. So, yeah.
I'm glad you touched on that. I want to get Charlotte's thoughts on what you've just said, because obviously there was some sort of debate on the players and the manager on who it should be. In my eyes, they're all to blame. You know, the substitutions are a mare, but I know about that being an Arsenal fan. Arteta's just as much of an idiot and a bottle job when it comes to bringing players on. But Charlotte, I think you're on mute. Hopefully you've clocked that. So I just want to see what's your sort of reaction from that in terms of, you know, Ollie do you reckon the window's enough for them this summer?
I've just spent the last 5 minutes listening to a Man United fan making excuses for his team when there isn't any. I'm sorry, your team, you've just stated your team got second and is unbeaten away. So where's the excuse at not beating Villarreal? Because I don't see it. So as far as I'm concerned, there's not an excuse. Also, Klopp lost to Emery in his first season. This is Ole's 3rd or 4th season. So there's not an excuse for you not having a trophy for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
sorry, not sorry.
Klopp was manager at Dortmund. Ole's had mould experience.
That's what I'm saying.
No. This is not my point.
Charles, you need to take into context. You need to take into context.
No, but you can give me context all you want. That's bullshit to me. If you can be unbeaten away from home and you can finish second place, you should. And I'm sorry, if you look at playing Villarreal against playing Man United should have beaten them. So
it was a low block. When has United ever beaten a low block convincingly? But Charlotte, it was a low block. They are Burnley. I don't like United with low blocks are shocking.
No, but that's not an excuse.
Come on.
No, it's not. They should have won, and we had a chance to win. Rashford should have scored, and we would have won.
So. Making excuses for Man United when there are actually none. Anyone that's making excuses for Man United is just ridiculous or delusional.
Because there's a difference between an excuse and explaining why you think the reason we lost. That's what I'm saying. It's not an excuse. I'm saying why I think we lost.
There isn't really a reason why you didn't lost, apart from the players didn't turn up and your manager failed you. There's about it.
It was a low block. It was a low block.
Right. The best team.
Charlotte, it's a low block. Charlotte, it's a low block, and United have never done it. Right, Charlotte, let me just quickly say this. Charlotte, it's a low block. The Villarreal are the Burnley of football, right? They are Villarreal as the Spanish Burnley. And 1 minute. And United all season with low blocks have struggled. Sheffield United, even Burnley, like they have struggled with low blocks. If this was a league game, guess what? They've got a point. It's a draw. It's actually quite respectable of what United have done this season in the league with a low block. They're not excuses. It's explaining that United, firstly, with a low block is utterly shocking. And secondly, with set pieces, they're utterly shocking. So it's like I hear what you're saying.
I need to address this comment just to clarify something, because when something goes wrong, we change our manager. We just don't do an Arsenal. We don't do an Arsenal. We don't do a Spurs. When our manager fails,
what happened to Di Matteo when you won the Champions League? You got rid of him, so you get rid of your managers when you win as well. The Champions League,
they sacked Ancelotti. Didn't they sack Ancelotti?
Sacked Ancelotti after he won the double. He won the double when you sacked him.
Can I finish? Firstly, there are some managers that I do not agree with being sacked. And Niall knows that I said this before. There are certain managers that I don't agree have been sacked. However, Lampard being sacked was the best decision we've ever made, because I don't see any of you in a Champions League final. Thank you. And just to clarify, if we lose tonight, at least we've lost to a team that won the Premier League this season and the Carabao Cup. What did the team that Man United win? Nothing.
Firstly, I wouldn't expect our goal to be in a European final. That would be a shock
in itself.
You said everyone here, at least my team is in a European final. So I'm going to assume that includes me. So firstly, if Argyle's in the European final, I'm going to have a heart attack.
I thought you were a Chelsea fan today, so I wasn't addressing.
When did I say I was a Chelsea fan?
Well, you're a secret Chelsea fan, to be honest.
I'm an Argyle fan.
We'll go on my season in a minute.
Secret Chelsea fan.
I know you touched on Rashford. Unfortunately, we've obviously seen some stuff on social media. The crap continues sort of thing. Hopefully Twitter and the platforms make a stand for it. But do you think he's just Jay, I'll go to you and then I think we'll move on to the Chelsea game, because then we can sort of scoop to another end. As I know they're obviously playing tonight, and I think we've sort of established what our views are on where it went wrong. Do you think he's just been overshined of other players this season, or because I know there's been a lot, like even when he was in, I think it was Gary Neville's team of the season that was put out. There was a lot of slander to him over anyone. I think he was the only player that actually got sort of any criticism for being on that. Do you think he has just been overshined of your Greenwood, Fernandes, Cavani, or it is a case of him just having a bad season and maybe he's not been in his shell?
I mean, it's funny that you saw some of the comments I've seen as well. Obviously, the disgusting stuff on social media after the game, in regards to his race, obviously vile and nothing to do with it. But then when, people can have opinions football-wise, absolutely fine. And some people saying, he's had a poor season, but he actually hasn't. He's had his best season at United. He's had his best goal and assist return. He's had 36 goal involvements, 21 goals, 15 assists. It's his best season in terms of end product. He's played a lot of games. He's had a shoulder injury earlier in the season, and I think he's got an ankle injury, which he's been playing with as well. And I think him and Maguire have played the most games. Like I said, they've played something like 60 games this season since July. They've been playing football non-stop for almost a year, plus the internationals. You add into that as well. I just think it's just such a shame. Imagine the difference in the reaction he would have got, rather than people being racist to him. If he would have just took that goal away at 1-1, he would have been a hero and we would have won the game, and it's all good. This is the fine margins in football, and this is why there's a lot of very fickle fans out there. It's just it's at that high level, at the elite, there's these small differences. And obviously Gary Neville's got the bias for Man United. I don't think he deserves to be in the Premier League team of the season. No, but I think in terms of for United, he's had a really good season. He's been one of our best players in terms of his returns, but strangely enough, he's also been quite inconsistent. So it just shows what a good player he is, and if he is even more consistent and his finishing improves, and he's going to be, he probably could then be in the team of the season next year. But
I think Euros is exactly what he needs as well. Obviously, he was in the selection, and I've got no doubt. I know Gareth likes him, not even just for his football, but his personality. He's got that sort of background where a lot of people know what he does off the field. But yeah, I hope Euros sort of brings him. I hope he has an absolute blinder.
I don't want him at the Euros. He's injured.
Why?
So let me explain this one. I know it's unpopular by a mile, but. He is currently playing with an injury. He's been playing with it for about 18, 19 months, for goodness sake. I want him to go get that surgery, to go fix himself, go have a rest, because I want him at his prime for the World Cup. I don't think... So, of course, football's coming home and we're going to be celebrating the win anyway, regardless. I say that every single year. We could take fucking Lee Grant as goalkeeper and we're still winning it. End of story. But I think our best chance is the World Cup. I want Rashford 100% fit for the World Cup, because I think that's our best chance. Harry Kane at that time is going to be about 27, 28. The likes of the Fodens, the Mounts, the Greenwoods, hopefully, will have had one tournament in their system. Rashford, did he go? He hasn't been to a tournament, to be fair. But someone like Rashford probably doesn't need that experience anyway. He's been at United in the first team since he was 17. I want Rashford to go away this summer. I know he'll want to play it. I want him to rest up, recover, get himself sorted, go get his surgery, and then just come back as an absolute beast. Because I think a fully fit Rashford for the World Cup next to a fit Kane and whoever we play on the right, whether that be Greenwood or Foden or God knows who, or Sancho, I think that will be absolutely, that's going to destroy teams. I just want him to go get some rest. I think that will be more beneficial to him than us forcing him into a team. I don't think we need him per se. I think he'll be great, but he's injured. We've got a Grealish that we can play there. We've got a Foden who can play on the wing. Could even probably play Greenwood on the left.
Well, there you go. Look, one of the hosts on this show is completely agreeing with you, and it is a very good debate. To be honest,
but I think there's a few players that actually shouldn't be going. Like, I don't think Jordan Henderson should be going.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll take him. I'll take him for
no.
Yeah, exactly what Ben said.
I think the problem is you either take him and he doesn't play and he's just there as that leadership role, because as far as I'm concerned, he can't be playing. He's not going out there to play as a man because if he'd have had like 7 or 8 games before he came in the Premier League, I would have been like, yeah, take him. But he hasn't. He hasn't had that, and I don't know. Valuable. But that's what I mean. That you can only take him for leadership. You can't take him as a player. So then I wonder. I wonder if he. This is my point. I think he should come, but not in the squad. So you choose the squad, but still bring him.
Replace him with? We need. So we've got what? If we
no. But I'm saying take him, but not in the squad. So you have more players to bring in.
But that's the question I'm asking you, Shal. You've deflected. You're doing a Boris. Who would you take? who would you take instead of Jordan Henderson? Mind you, our 2 DMs are Rice and Phillips. Now, I trust Rice. I'm not so sure about Calvin Phillips, to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah. No,
Who do we have? Who do we have as an English DM?
That's the point.
That's a fair point.
Euros, a little plug. We're going to be doing an episode once the squad is announced next Thursday. So why don't we all come join in on the comments or get involved, and then we'll go over who should be there. But yeah, I want to go into the Chelsea game because I feel like Jay's got some fire. He's waiting to sort of throw back in Charlotte's way. And to be honest, tonight it could be anyone's game, isn't it? Chelsea have won the last 2 against City in 2 months. But just before we sort of move on to that, De Gea, obviously, like Charlotte mentioned, ended up being the guy to sort of lose it for you. I know I did a poll on the Twitter the other day. Do you think it is the nail in the coffin? Do you think this is now him sort of his time to go and sort of you rely on Dean Henderson? Because I think there's even links with you and Tom Heaton as well, which I found completely bizarre. I read it and I thought
he's signed, hasn't he? He's coming in as backup, I hope.
Yeah, they've done it, I think.
Well, for your sake, I hope he's a backup. Because, I mean, I know he's been saying I'm here to challenge for the number 1, but I hope for the sanity of every Manchester United fan worldwide, Tom Heaton is not fighting for that number 1 jersey. Could you imagine fucking lining up with Tom Heaton walking behind Harry Maguire as your fucking goalkeeper? Oh my god,
Jay.
But I think if you want to make money from De Gea, you have to sell him now, because the more mistakes he makes, the less appealing he is to other clubs. And for me, there's been a few too many mistakes made by De Gea. Like, I'm not saying every goalkeeper doesn't, but when De Gea makes a mistake, it usually costs you something. And unfortunately, it costs you something quite big.
You know about that,
Jay. Would you like to see him gone this window?
I don't think the penalty mess has any bearing whatsoever on what was going to happen anyway in the summer. You've seen Henderson's been coming in; he's been playing most, if not all, of the Premier League matches, and De Gea has been the cup keeper. The the Tom Heaton thing, I think he must be replacing Lee Grant as the third goalkeeper potentially. I don't know if he's going or his contract's up. Not really sure. Tom Heaton was also at the Man United academy, so he's just coming home like Pogba is. He's coming back. Maybe that means that he might fulfill like a homegrown quota player. Wouldn't surprise me if there's some loophole there for the reason why they're doing it. With De Gea, he's the highest earner at the club. He's on like 350 grand a week, I think, which is just absolutely insane. Whoever signs off on that for a goalkeeper is just an idiot. And that's an Ed Woodward special. That's an Ed Woodward special for you. Like, come on. I know he's been a great goalkeeper over the years, but he has been in decline the past few seasons, and he has started to make more mistakes than he usually did. So yeah, I think he will be off. And I think Henderson will come in and take the number one spot. I also see a few things about us maybe getting Oblak.
I saw that as well.
Potentially De Gea going back to Madrid. I'm not so sure about that one. I mean, maybe that's the three they're aiming for. But yeah, as Niall said earlier, we've got about 5 or 6 other positions which we really need to prioritise more than worrying about getting 2 goalkeepers in and wasting a lot of time and effort on those transfers.
I think centre half is the main one. I think with Harry Maguire being injured, I think it was a bit of a wake up call because it's made you realise that you haven't got the depth there. Eric Bailly is obviously supposedly departing, so yeah, you're going to have a lot. I think everyone's got a big window this summer. United, Tottenham, Arsenal. It's just hopefully. We can't all sign 7 players. There isn't enough quality out there, and I don't think most teams have the squad. But like people like Daniel James in that photo there, you've got to get rid. But we'll move on because I want to talk about this Chelsea game because I'm quite excited to see how this ends. And Charlotte, I'm making sure I get you back on the channel if it ends badly for your team.
That's absolutely cool because realistically, nothing can be worse than the Man U game. So absolutely crack on. This is what I was so worried about because when Man United were playing, and I genuinely thought Man United were going to beat them. I thought Man United are going to become unbearable when they beat them and they have a trophy. And if we lose, it's going to be bad. But because they messed up so badly on Wednesday, yes, I'm going to be absolutely pissed off if we don't. Oh yeah, no, Kepa's already gone. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry, he's not in my squad.
Could you imagine if he starts tonight? Oh my god!
If he starts, I'm having a fucking mental breakdown.
I'm on your watch along. Do you know how much shit I'm going to say if you start with Kepa?
But I mean, the problem is that like. I'm not too fast. I mean, yes, every team's going to be disappointed they don't win a trophy, obviously. I think that's normal, but am I going to be as I'm not going to be I don't know if this makes sense, but I'm not too bad if I lose to Man City, a team that have won the Premier League. Yes, I'm going to be gutted and disappointed, but at least I've won to a team that's like actually won the Premier League this season. So,
sure.
But I mean, it's based on our mentality, to be honest. Our mentality is our key thing.
Yeah.
Shark, can I ask you a question quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, if obviously, you're not the favourites to win it as well. But if, say, for example, you do lose the final again today, and then I know it's being Tuchel's first season and stuff, but do you think the pressure should be applied slightly because that'd be 2 finals that you've obviously failed in?
I mean, I already think the pressure's on Tuchel already because he's on 2 Champions League finals in 2 years. I know different situations, but doesn't look good for our manager. Like, I'm still supporting Tuchel no matter what. I believe in him. I think with a pre-season, the players he wants and a full season, I think we're going to see a different Chelsea. However, I think the problem is that I'm not going to like just shun him. Like, for me, Tuchel's come in. I'm literally backing him because he's brought stuff to this team that I didn't think they were capable of. I didn't see us. When we were in December, I didn't even see us making it past the quarterfinals. So the fact that we're in a final, also finishing in top 4, and like we beat Man City. I didn't think if you'd have told me like in December we would be beating Man City twice, I'd have laughed in your face. Like actually laughed in your face. But I mean, Tuchel's done what he needs to do. I'm really happy. I think this is a big game for him. I mean, it's a big game for both of them. Pep hasn't been in the Champions League final for 10 years, unfortunately. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Mendy. I mean, I think Mendy is definitely starting just because Tuchel's been pushing for him to get fit.
Yeah.
Just like he's been pushing for Kante to be fit. So, you know, I think Kante and Mendy are both going to start. I mean, it is really down to us. The only way we're going to lose is us. Like, I can't blame anyone else, but the only way that us losing is if the players do a Leicester FA Cup final and just don't turn up.
Going back to that pressure thing, Charlotte. Obviously, I mean, like you said, you've beaten them twice this season, and I didn't say this, but I'm going to bring it up because I mean, like Lee said here, you can beat City twice, but you can lose to. Let's talk like the final day. Obviously, that top 4 place narrowly you were squeezed past, and I think
you owe Spurs a thank you.
Yeah, for some.
I've given Spurs a thank you. They only get 1, and that's about it. Thank you.
Fair play. At least you acknowledge it.
Just going to that. Obviously, you were in 3rd place, and then you just narrowly finished 4th.
Yeah.
Do you think that causes a bit more of an impact on how tonight goes? And I didn't want to bring it up, but also the Leicester defeat. Obviously, you had a chance of finishing 3rd in what's been a really tough season for most top sides, and then claiming potentially 2 trophies. Do you think that game last Sunday has perhaps maybe got a knock-on effect on what happens after this?
No, not really. The FA Cup final, if you look at it in perspective, really wasn't that important. I know it's an important cup, but if you look at it compared to the Champions League final right now, I think in Tuchel's mind, it's more important to win the Champions League final than it is the FA Cup.
Both. I mean, but
no. No, but I think the problem is if you look at our squad, we can't do both right now. We have Werner at the front, the man that doesn't know what offside or the back of the net is.
Your squad has got more depth than most of us combined.
No. I know.
If you don't win a trophy this season and get top 4, would that be successful? Because you sort of went to United for doing exactly that.
Yeah.
So,
I would say no.
I wouldn't like to come.
I would say no. But I would say no and
at least you're consistent.
No,
at least you're. Well, no, you can only have one. Hold on, you can only have one answer to that. You can't have no answer.
Hold on. Let me just say, mainly no, but yes, in the fact that Tuchel only has. No, it's only because Tuchel has had less than half a season to do this. No, on the fact that we should have won the FA Cup. Yes, however, we didn't. For the last few games in the Premier League, a lot of changes have been made to starting 11s.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of preparing for the Champions League final. And as far as I'm concerned,
but I wasn't asking about the Premier League. I was asking about the FA Cup final.
I mean, the FA Cup final for me, yes, I was absolutely fuming at the way it's ended.
You absolutely were, to be fair.
I've got to the point now where when Werner starts, and every time he gets the ball, every time he eventually gets the ball in the back of the net, I don't even actually bother because I know it's going to be either offside or hands. I don't even know. And I don't even get when a goal goes in now, I've got to the point where I have to wait at least 5 minutes to celebrate because I'm like, is it offside? Yeah, it's probably going to be offside. Yeah, and it's VAR. You might as well just call it now, ref. It's probably going to be offside. But I mean, it's just got to the point where our team is going to be our downfall tonight. Not anybody else. If my team's mentality is dead ass, then I have to hold my hands up and be like, we have a mentality problem. We need to back this shit up and sort it out. I will hold my team accountable.
You got the excuses ready, I see.
But I don't even have any excuse. There's no excuses for my team not turning up. Yes, we have Werner there, but Werner plays quite well against City's setup and his pace helps. So technically, he should be helping. Now, the lineup that I want, which is Havertz up front, Werner on the wing and Mount on the wing, because Werner works better on the wing because he's not a striker. It's like leaving a human being on an island surrounded by sharks. They're not going to survive.
Well, it depends.
He
The
can't be on a
Sharks,
race.
Was he
it
not a
depends.
striker for
The
Leipzig
Sharks-
though, and he scored like 29 goals?
It was
or
second-
something?
it was straight second
He
striker,
was their
wasn't it?
second striker. He's
Yeah.
their second striker. The problem is we don't have anyone to back him up. So as far as I'm concerned, if Havertz starts as a up front and you have Werner on the wing, at least he's got someone there that's capable of supporting him. That's if Havertz turns up. But I mean, yeah, it's literally going to be on us. We've beaten them twice already. It's not like we can't beat them again. If we don't beat them, I'm going to be pissed off because my team's already beaten them twice. We can obviously do it again. We're capable of doing it twice. We're capable of doing it in actually not the biggest games. We're capable of doing it in an FA Cup semi-final. I guess it's big, but like it's not like it's a Champions League final. Like we've beaten them in the Premier League and a semi-final. Why the hell can't we beat them in a final? So as far as I'm concerned, we need to be. I'm hoping that Pep, with so much pressure, kind of bottles it a little bit as well, because we all know what Pep gets like. Because Pep actually doesn't have a choice. Pep has to win this. 10 years of not being in the Champions League final.
I mean,
but then as a petty Chelsea fan, I want to stop Aguero from getting a Champions League in his final season. That's how petty I'm
Pep, though, couldn't it? Because obviously Pep was looking at a quadruple. He's now potentially looking at a completely terrible double, because the way I see it, a Premier League and a Carabao Cup, when you had the opportunity of an FA Cup and the Champions League, is demoralising. I would be absolutely shamed if I was in that team.
Yeah, but
because I'm Chelsea. I can always count on Josh to come in with something brilliant, but yeah, to be honest, I think like the pressure's on. Like you mentioned the attack, I want to talk about Reece James because obviously it's a big night for him, not just in terms of Chelsea. I think there was 4 right backs chosen. We were touching on Euros earlier, midweek, so I think he's probably got a bit of a point to prove. Do you reckon he's starting this evening?
Yeah. My starting 11 for this squad would be Mendy, Aspie, Silva, Rudiger, Chilwell, Reece James, Kante, and Kovacic. But I think it will be my personal would be Kovacic, but I think it's going to be Jorginho. And then obviously, I would like to see our front three. I'd like to see Mount, Havertz and Werner, but that's the more realistic squad with Jorginho in it, because I think Jorginho will play. But yeah, Reece James has to play. I mean, I think if it doesn't go so well, I think he'll be subbed off for Hudson-Odoi. I don't know. But I mean, he really does have a point to prove, because a lot of people are questioning why he's in the squad. So I think he has to step up and prove that. I've seen a lot on Twitter, people like, why is Reece James in there? So I think he has to step up and show his A game tonight. Yeah. Prove to people why he deserves to be in that squad. What Gareth Southgate saw in him.
Versatility as well, isn't it? Like Gareth spoke on the versatility he has, how he can play in the middle, and how that's why he was perhaps chosen over. I don't know. There's quite a few names that missed out, to be honest, especially out at the back, like Wan-Bissaka. He can't really play in midfield. He can't play in midfield, but Reece James can. So that sort of thing goes his way. But he does provide something different. So what I'm going to get a predicted result off you, Charlotte. I know it's probably hard because you're a Chelsea fan. You've got to give the given one, and then I'll get a prediction from Jay. And Jay, I want to see, see what you sort of think in terms of if they lose tonight, how it can go, where Tuchel is at, and how much danger he is in. But yeah, prediction from you, Charlotte, first. Sorry.
I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game. Like, my gut feeling is that it's going to go to penalties. I literally have this gut feeling, and most of my gut feelings this season have actually gone my way and been right. So I think it might go to penalties. But if it doesn't, I think it's going to be a 1-0. I want to say I'm backing my team, Chelsea. 1-0 Chelsea. But I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, to be honest. What I see Chelsea doing is just getting the goal early on and then just defending the hell out of it.
Yeah. I'm not going to say a thing about these guys. To be fair, Trent's at a different level. I
actually agree with that comment there. He is just a poor man's champ, to be brutally honest. Charlotte's gonna kill me. FYI, like me and Charlotte do a lot of content together. She is going to kill me for saying that.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just had a beer. But Jay, I'll go to you, mate, and then I'll let Charlotte sort of retaliate and maybe calm down. Jay, what's your predictions? And do you think if this is a loss tonight for Tuchel, that it's been an unsuccessful season?
Yeah, I mean, where do I start really about the absolute onslaught at United, and then you're kind of saying for the standards of Chelsea, like, I'm happy we lost an FA Cup final. Tuchel, I'm happy with Tuchel.
Well,
happy with Tuchel. He's done a good job. Like, give
I
it
didn't
like.
say I'm happy. Did not say I'm happy. Taking words out of context, I said I was fuming.
You don't like context. When I brought context to the table, you didn't like it.
I said it's not I'm not happy about it, but I'd rather lose an FA Cup final than a Champions League final, if that makes sense.
Well, if you had to pick, but surely if you've spent over 200 million in the summer and brought in like 7 brilliant players, it shouldn't be a case of that. It should be a case of you should smash Leicester. You've spent way more money than them. I know you got rid of Lampard, but
you had Frank Lampard who couldn't manage and didn't know what to do with the players, hence why injuries were occurred. Yes, I'm making an excuse right now, but it's not an excuse, it's a fact. Frank Lampard knew how to manage and knew tactics. I could predict Frank Lampard's football team 4 weeks in advance, and I'd be right.
I've got to bring this up. Brilliant comment there. Absolutely brilliant comment there. When was the last time you actually won a game at Wembley? Can you remember, Charlotte?
I don't want to remember.
I'm not digging.
I don't want to remember. It's been a while. We've beat you twice.
Depends on if it counts in finals.
Just speak as well, like the fact that United have finished above Chelsea, and Chelsea have bought, Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, Ben Chilwell, Mendy, Silva, and all we bought in was Cavani, who was almost semi-retired, Van der Beek and Telles. Like and you already probably had a better squad than us. Did you finish above us last season? We finished 3rd. No, you would have finished. We
finished 4th. Just to clarify, we finished 4th.
We finished above you the last 2 seasons, and our signings have been rubbish, and we've got a PE teacher as the manager. You've spent over 200 million, and you've got Tuchel now, who's at the helm. And you should surely be doing a lot better, really. Come on.
Chelsea brought in a legend.
I'm sorry. Last season, who did we sign last season? Yeah, that's right. We had a transfer ban. We had fucking Bambi on ice. Bambi on ice up front.
You bought in Pulisic.
Yeah, we bought
a good job.
I'm sorry.
Lampard was in the mould of Solskjaer, and he was trying to run the club well. He was trying to bring in youth players. He bought through.
That's the only good thing he did.
Look at Tammy Abraham, right? Tammy Abraham is your joint top goal scorer this season. He's your he's on the same amount of goals as Timo Werner.
And that's really high praise, because Timo Werner's been shit this season. Timo Werner's played
51 games and he's got the same amount of goals as him. So surely Lampard was doing something right there, right?
And that's really big praise, because comparing Abraham to Werner is really a proud moment for Abraham, isn't it? No, it's really not. Let me tell you, Abraham's already left the club as far as I'm concerned. He can go to anywhere but Chelsea.
He's played 19 games left. He's played 19 games left, and he's got the same amount of goals as Werner.
Your point, Werner's shit, Abraham's shit. There we go.
I mean, you must really love your squad. Your 2 top goal scorers who've got a combined 24 goals. You hate them and you want them gone.
No, I don't want Werner.
Would you be happy with the Europa Conference League then?
I don't want Werner gone. Never said that, but Abraham can go. Yes, because if you look at it realistically, and yes, I say it carelessly, like, oh, Abraham's already gone. But if you look at it pointlessly, we have 3 places for strikers. Giroud's obviously going to stay because he would be better as a 3rd striker because he's nearer to like retirement. And that's just me being honest. Secondly, Werner will then become our 2nd striker. We're obviously buying another striker. Abraham doesn't fit. If Abraham wants minutes, he's going to have to leave. That's not me being honest. That's me being honest. And yes, I say it carelessly because I've accepted the fact that Abraham is leaving because we're going to keep Giroud. Werner will be our 2nd striker and we'll buy a new striker. That's what I've accepted a long time ago. And sometimes you have to be blunt about it. Abraham hasn't been our best performer, but neither has Werner. And that's me being honest on performances.
Yeah, but when you pay that money, Werner's got to be the first choice, surely.
No, he bloody doesn't.
Right,
Anybody but
Who
Werner.
could you see coming in, Charlotte? Say you don't win tonight. Obviously, you've still got top four.
This is everyone's gonna laugh at me right now, but I've said this since February, and Niall knows this. But Harry Kane's coming to Chelsea. Like, I've had a gut feeling since February that he's coming. But
It's
I mean,
okay. I've
I've
already kept her saying it, so she'll get what's coming to her when he doesn't.
But just to clarify, at least I've stuck to my guns. Like, I haven't said anything different since February. I'm sorry, hon. When did you stop drinking, or did you not stop drinking from last night? How are you even capable of typing right now? Like,
wow. The question I've got is Tammy Abraham near Didier Drogba level? Because I think he's almost there.
Jesus.
Wow.
Jesus. Wow. That is probably common in a day. That.
I'm not going to lie. I'm ready to join Josh and start drinking right now. Like, no, thank you. No. You know, there's a difference. Like, I'm hoping next season Werner succeeds. I don't want him to fail, but people keep telling me Werner needs confidence. But look at the statistics. And this is where my problem of trying to be confident with Werner is. 46 on-shot targets. 12 went in. 12 out of 46. That's not a good statistic. That's not something that I can be like, yeah, that's so good. Yeah, let's celebrate. Congratulations. Like, what do you want? A chocolate coin for getting 12 out of 46?
Sharp, but can you see him doing better next year or not?
Well, I hope so. I'm praying for this. Like, I'm not even religious, but I'm like praying to Jesus. Like, please, someone possess this man to know what the back of the net is, because I am struggling to like.
He knows where the back of the net is. He just doesn't know the offside rule. That's the element.
He just needs to know where the defenders are. It's like he's blind. He's left and right.
I have tried. I have sent him 3 or 4 PowerPoints for 3-year-olds on what the offside rule is, and a man's not getting it, so I don't know what to do.
You know they do blind football. Do they do offside in blind football?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Just to be fair, if they don't, he might actually want to go and take part in that, because at least then he can just sort of
this
do
is what I don't
does.
understand, right? Look at that stat: 34 goals in 45 games. Comes to the Premier League, he only just hits double figure. I don't understand it.
This is my point. I don't understand it, because the problem is that I'm struggling to see like why his confidence has been hit when he got 2 goals in one of the games, and then there was the next game he was absolutely diabolical. And this is the problem I'm seeing. He gets this goal, and then you expect him to go into the next game, as you would when someone gets a goal, to go in with a little bit more confidence. But instead, it just seems to make him worse. So I'm questioning like where his mentality is at, because if he's capable of getting these goals last season, like, I'm like, what's happened from like from you leaving Germany to coming here to actually you not being capable of it? So I'm hoping, I'm praying with all my heart that he turns it around next season.
If he goes and wins it for you tonight, I'm going to remember that you called Werner and Abraham both shit on this channel. And if one of them wins it for you tonight, I guarantee a tweet.
You'll have to get on your shirt next year.
I bet I'll see a tweet from you, Werner, Timo, you beauty, or something, and I'll just think, well,
no. Not really. I mean, I'll just be like, congratulations, you got it in the back of the net when we actually needed you to for the first time ever. Congratulations.
So you're going 1-0 either end. Jay, I think it was sort of midway through talking about the FA Cup, and then it sort of turned conversation. But what score prediction would you go for tonight, being obviously an outsider?
Yeah, I think looking at the previous games between you, there's been one goal in it. It's been 2-1 or 1-0. I think there was 1-3-1 in the league early in the season to City. But I think it's going to be 2-1 to City. It will be a close game. Both managers quite experienced, and they'll try and keep it as tight as they can at the back. They'll be quite a cagey game, I think, and. Well, that first goal will open it up a little bit, but it'll probably come a bit later on in the match. I just think City are just too strong, and that their squad, and Guardiola's obviously been around the block and done it. And I think you mentioned like the Aguero thing, I think in his last game to seal off his Man City career. I think he's gonna lift the trophy and leave like he said he would.
Yeah, it would be fitting, wouldn't it? I think it would just sort of work out well for him. Obviously, he got the league, and he ended up playing brilliantly in the Sunday game. So if he can go and smash a performance tonight in the Champions League as well, it'd be brilliant. Phil Foden to have a field day. Niall, I'll come to you with the same question. What's your score prediction? You've got to be careful because you're on with Charlotte later on, as you touched on her channel. So I suppose you've got to play this wise, but just go with your heart, mate.
So I think it'll be 1-1 after 90 minutes with Mount and Foden getting both goals. Then it'll probably be 1-1 after extra time, and then probably like 95, 94 on penalties, because I just don't think anyone's actually, because I know Mendy's not very good at saving penalties.
Werner will miss
Do you know what? It's the only time I'd want Kepa on the pitch. Is Kepa is actually good at penalties.
Well, to
it's
be
the
fair,
only time I'd want Kepa on the pitch.
No,
even
he'll
need
probably
to,
just
because-
bowl on. He'll probably just bowl on the field.
You don't even need to, because Manchester City and penalties is not something you actually put in the same sentence.
Mendy saved the penalty a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
I think he's unreal. I think he's arguably, if it weren't for, I said this on your channel last night, I think, Niall, because you were going over the Chelsea end of season.
Yeah.
If Edison hadn't performed and if Man City hadn't won the league, Mendy's in every single team of the season. I think he's been just phenomenal, considering that Kepa was 60 million, and he turned out an absolute flop, piece of shite for your lot.
Wasn't it 70 million? I thought it was
70 million, and then Mendy comes in from and let's be honest, from the French league, not many people come in and actually deliver. Goalkeepers, I can't speak of many, but I think he's just been brilliant. And this game against Madrid in particular, he saved your asses. If it weren't for him, you'd have been way out in that game. But prediction, I think it definitely both teams to score. I'm agreeing with you on that one, sort of, Jay. And I know, Niall, you said penalties, but penalty. I hate when we last saw an English game. I've touched on this previously on the pod. In all English final, it was dead to wood. It was Liverpool versus Tottenham, and it was one of the most boring finals I've ever seen.
Yeah, but it did have Tottenham in. So can you really be surprised it was a good game?
Yeah, good
facts.
Good comment.
Facts,
We're bringing you back on just for that. Comment. But yeah. I think with Chelsea and City, it has got that expectation now, because the semi-final in the FA Cup, obviously, that was the 1-0, and I think City need to take revenge tonight. It's now or never. This is Pep's best chance of winning Champions League as well. It's all he's got left to do with them. Sam, mate, up there. Obviously, it's been a bit of an overwhelming discussion, mate. What's your predictions tonight?
Guys, I'm absolutely knackered just listening to it. Fucking hell. My heart, I really think that City are going to go all out for this. So I think it's going to be a 3-0 City. Sorry.
Yeah, I've said 3-1 City. I've gone with 3-1 City just because I think Chelsea, they've got a lot, like players out in the Chelsea squad, they've got a little bit more to sort of show, like Reece James, we touched on. City, they've won the league, they're in good spirit. Who knows? Maybe they've been celebrating and they're hungover. I think that's the only sort of thing Chelsea can hope for tonight. But it seems.
Did you see the video of Pep smoking the cigar? Singing Oasis.
Did you all see the quote that he said? Pep was like, "If I win the Champions League, I'm going to give the medal to my daughter so she can share it with someone she loves who's never going to get a trophy."
Brilliant. I hate Dele Alli, so I like that even more. Before we wrap up, obviously it's been a bit long. I know we've got a Saturday. We all want to get on with our day. Charlotte, you're probably going to crack open the glass of wine, get the nerves. We've got 3 different fans here, from myself and Sam excluded, from different clubs. I just want to quickly get your worst and best moment of the season. Niall, I'll go to you first, actually, because you're a bit of an outsider, and I don't know much about the league they're in. I watch Stevenage now and again, obviously, because I'm from there, but Plymouth I can't say I know much about. Other than that, is there sort of a worst or best moment you've had this season?
Oh, there's so many bad moments, so many. You could say the 6-0 thrashing from Charlton at home park, which was fucking brutal. You could talk about I think it was like a 7-8 game losing streak, which was beautiful to watch. Yeah, it would just take your pick out with one of them.
I mean, you survived. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Both of them are pretty shit. I'd say we've got a lot of comebacks. Like, we scored a lot of goals in like the 90+ minutes. Like, added time from Joe Edwards, which, I mean, to be fair, when you're relying on goals from your right wing back to get your points, it's never a great start. But yeah, any sort of comeback. I mean, Lincoln was a good one. We got the win there. Joe Edwards getting us the winner. And then, yeah, the bad moment, just take a pick from whatever sounds worse, losing 6-0 to Charlton at home or going on like a 7-8 game losing streak. Whichever one sounds worse, go for that one.
Yeah, fair point. Jay, mate, I'll go to you on it. I'm gonna guess your worst moment, but I could be wrong here. It's got to be Wednesday, surely.
Yeah, pretty much. I think before that, it was probably going out in the Champions League when it was, it should have been done and dusted. We beat PSG and we beat Leipzig in the first 2 games, and then beat Istanbul Başakşehir. So we had 9 points after 3 games. You're like, this is done and dusted. We're through. Just have to go to Turkey and win. And we went over there and lost. So then the pressure was on those last 2 games. And they and PSG and Leipzig came back and done us. So going out of the Champions League in that group, I know it was a group of death and it was a tough ask, but
and maybe that's 6-1. I knew Luke was going to bring that up. I knew Luke.
I know that wasn't. I mean, whenever Spurs beat us, I think of Luke and he's my mate, so I'm not so annoyed. And I've usually got Kane or somebody in my fantasy football team, which takes the edge off it. But start of the season, losing 3 out of the first 6 games was a horrendous start of the season, and we went on to only lose 6 overall. So 3 games in the remaining 32 matches is pretty good. So yeah, that was the worst. I'd say the best was probably being top at Christmas. And thinking, oh my God, we might actually win that season. As much as I knew, nowhere near, never going to catch Liverpool. Just to remember what it was like. It's not happened for quite a while, so that was an enjoyable moment.
Yeah, fair. I mean, a lot of people have been top this season. It's crazy. Like even Southampton were top. I'm sure there's some Southampton fans remembering that back in the day. But Charlotte, let's go to you. What's your best and worst moment this season? I mean, there's still a game to play, so this could all change.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my worst moment so far is probably losing the FA Cup. The best is Lampard getting sacked.
Savage.
No, but Lampard getting sacked got us to where we are today. So
don't you mean Gareth Bale scoring last weekend to get you in the Champions League? Surely that's got to be the best moment, right?
But I mean, I'm talking about the Champions League final, something you wouldn't know about because you got kicked out so early that I completely forgot you were even in it this season. But
sorry, did we beat you in the Champions League final? Didn't we when we played each other? Can you remember that?
I'm sorry. When was that? Was that recently? Because I don't see you winning the Champions League recently. To be honest, I can't recount when we last won the Champions League.
Sam, I'll go to you, mate, and then I'll sort of give my 2 pence on my worst and best. But they're going to be similar, obviously, both being Arsenal fans.
Yeah, we haven't had much.
Is there any good?
Yeah, I was going to say there isn't much that we can celebrate. To be fair, worst bit probably losing to Emery. That was probably a kick in the teeth. Probably the best bit was last weekend when it ended for us. We haven't had much to go. To be fair, I think we probably deserve it as Arsenal fans because we're probably the most toxic fan base on the internet, and we really probably we deserve it.
Karma, I've said that. I think it is just a little bit of karma, maybe. Yeah. Yeah,
but hopefully, I don't know. We've got the Euros to look forward to. Hopefully, that does something for all the English fans, and then we come back next year, and hopefully we get top 4, top 6. I don't see it, but see what happens.
I feel like I've got to give something good now because the fact that you've said your best moment was the season ending.
Surely winning at Old Trafford. Surely winning at Old Trafford.
It's got to be going unbeaten again. Yeah, even the 2 games. I'd take even the fact that we just went unbeaten we beat you at your old ground, and then we turned up against you at our ground as well.
We've got the double against Chelsea this year. That could help.
Yeah, and I was just about to touch on that. Boxing Day win against Chelsea. It's got to be my best moment. We needed it as well. The fact that we were playing absolutely poor and then we just turned up against Chelsea made them look like the shit that they are. So I'll take it. 3-0 up in the space of half hour, and that was like our worst form. When you were on such a terrible run of form, we needed it. Like it was massive. Worst moment is I don't know whether it's the Southampton defeat in the FA Cup. That kind of hit me a little bit because we were the holders and we seemed to just throw it away. And then we went and beat Southampton a week later. So that was a bit crap. But we've got a comment here, Sam. I'll sort of answer to it because it's an Arsenal one. We haven't really spoken about Arsenal, which is a good thing usually. What guys making a room is, I can't see them all leaving personally.
Do you know what makes me laugh about the Xhaka thing? Is that all the fans, all the Arsenal fans saying how shit he is, and then
he's the best of a bad bunch. I get that.
Yeah,
he is the best of a bad bunch.
They're all slagging him off, saying, "Oh yeah, he's the worst player" and all that. And then, so I don't know who it is. They offered like I think 10, 15 million, and all the Arsenal fans are like, "Oh no, he's worth at least 40 million." Fucking just double standards, man.
You didn't just say 40 million for Granit Xhaka, did you?
I didn't say that, no, but that's what they're saying there.
Because that would be too much.
I think that's what Sam's reaction was. Other people saying it.
I'd have to leave the UK for that. That is horrific.
10 million max if you're lucky. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think Granit's got to be. Granit's up there. He is the best. He's been one of our best this season. But like I said, it's the best of a bad group of players this season. Like if you look at Saka and Smith Rowe, they've developed in it. That speaks for it all. But yeah, if we sell all three of them midfielders, I'll be very surprised because there's enough work to do as it is. The same as at United. But guys, thank you for coming on. Obviously, hopefully the game's a cracker tonight. We've got Euros coming very, very soon. We're going to be back Sideline Talk next Thursday, discussing our starting 11. Before we wrap up, I'll go to each and every one of you just for people that haven't or will not have not seen you on your channels. Just let them know where they can find you. Charlotte, I'll go to you first. Have you calmed down, my love?
Yeah, I'm all good. It's all good. It's all good until tonight. I have alcohol. It can be my best friend. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Charl_Strong, and you can find me on my YouTube channel, Charl Strong TV. We're doing a watch along for Champions League tonight, and Niall will be joining me. So if you want to see a mental breakdown happen, tune in.
Yeah, we'll all be there. Don't worry. I promise you, we'll all be there.
Yeah, funny enough, I'm actually going to be with Sam later, so I tell you what, I'm making sure we comment in it. If something goes down, if the game's in your end, then definitely not. But Jay, my good mate at Rivalry Aside TV, let them know what you're on and what you guys get up to.
Yeah, so you can get me on Twitter at J_RATV, and yeah, as you mentioned, Rivalry Aside TV. So we do lots of watch-alongs and match previews, match reviews, also. Lot of the England coverage as well. We'll be doing watch-alongs and previews during the Euros. So we got Spurs fan, a couple of Liverpool fans, Villa fan, West Ham fan, covering all bases. So yeah, come and check out what we're doing. And nice to meet you all. And I'll be tuning into your channel tonight, Charlotte, to give you some grief. And if you lose, you've inspired me. You've got another subscriber here, so well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I've just subscribed to you now.
And also just want to say it's good. Whoever wins tonight, it's great to see some young English players are going to be lifting the Champions League.
Definitely.
And that can only be good for England in the Euros, right? So that's what we all want. So.
Yeah, I echo that. Like it'll be good confidence. I think with City, there's not really anyone playing for a point to prove in terms of the England squad. Like Foden, Stones, Walcott, they're all pretty much given to go. But I think that will be such good morale going on to even those friendly games. And then from the friendly games, it will get good going. Niall, mate, let them know where they can find you and what you get up to on your channel.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube at Let's Talk Premier League, covering Arsenal, Chelsea, United and Liverpool. Today we're doing a championship final watch along for the playoffs, so that'll be a great show. Will be there 3 p.m. So that'll be a good one. Then we do like transfer talk every day, so just going for all the transfer rumours. And then we've got match reaction after the Chelsea City game tonight, so that should be fun.
Get Charlotte on. If Chelsea lost, Charlotte's got to be the first person.
Charlotte is always on for reactions, so she'll definitely be there. As will most of the Chelsea regulars that aren't in the pub or too drunk. But all good stuff here over there.
Yeah, come on you Brentford anyway, and come on you City. Sorry, Charlotte, but yeah, guys, we'll be back next week. Hope you enjoy the bank holiday weekend, and cheers, guys, for coming on.
See you later, guys.
Cheers, guys.
See you later, guys. Cheers.